So now that we've configured our web.xml, let's create our servlet config. Now if you remember, inside of our web.xml, we told it that we were going to put it underneath our webinf config servlet config location. So let's right click on the webinf directory and say new folder. We'll call it config, and make sure you've done it on the webinf directory and not web app, or it won't put it in the right place. So webinf config, it should look like something similar to this in your address bar up here. And let's click finish. Now once we've done that, since I'm in Spring STS, and it's almost the same thing in Eclipse, I'm going to right click on config and say new, and I'm going to go to other. Now in Eclipse you would just do file, but since I'm in STS, I'm going to use Spring Bean configuration file, and I'm going to name this servlet-config.xml. Now really all this bought me, since I'm in Spring, is that it added this namespace up here for me. As I showed you in the previous example, there's just some namespaces that we're going to use inside of our application that just help make things a little easier for us. In fact, if we go down to our namespaces here, on this tab down below, you can see that there's a handful of namespaces I can add to my application. So I'm going to click context, and I'm going to click MVC as well, and it just says, hey, we're going to add these definitions in there, just making it easier for us to navigate down below here. So now that we've got these, now that we have these all added in here, I can save my application and go back to my source code, and you can see it's just added a few more namespace definitions up here. Nothing too complex. And the sample code for the exercise will have this in there as well, if that's not making a whole lot of sense to you. Now I'm going to add my two pieces I need to annotate and start building my controller. So let's add MVC, and we want to do annotation driven. All right. And since we're not adding anything to it, I can just back up there and put that / in, and it will automatically get rid of the trailing closing element. And I'm going to also add the context component scanner. Now the MVC annotation driven just means, hey, we're going to use annotations to configure our application, which we're going to. Now the next one I'm going to do is context, and I'm going to do component scan. Now component scan says, hey, where should we start looking for annotations at? Well, if you remember, when we created our project, we decided we were going to name our package. Now, you could have named it something different, but we created ours and called it com.pluralsite. And we're going to put all of our controllers underneath a controller package. Now, we haven't created any of those yet, so there's nothing that it's tying to just yet, but we're going to. So let's go ahead and close that off, and we're done. That's all we need right now for our configuration. Let's go ahead and save that file. That's what I was doing when it popped up the Windows Explorer there. Go ahead and save this file, and now we're ready to start building Java code underneath this package structure.